I almost hate to see him being rewarded, to be honest with you. I'm glad Bradley got one, so now he can say he's an all-star for the rest of his life. Bradley Beal's an all-star. It's actually John Wall's 5th straight
Yeah, it's
time,
nice.
which is shocking.
Nice
Yeah, you kind of forget about that.
Shocking.
If you
5
watched
straight.
on TNT, they announced starters now. It had been out on the internet for a while, the guys who made it, but it was players-only night, which I actually enjoy. So it's Chris Webber, Shaq, Isaiah Thomas, and Baron Davis. And if you've ever done TV where they tease you, and we've done this, they ask you to kind of look interested sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to on audio, but they're just going to get the visual of you.
It's always awkward.
And Bradley Beal and John Wall were sitting there and looked so uninterested and so stone-faced that the guys just started joning.
Oh, they did?
And then actually they
started
laughed
laughing.
because the guys were joning at what they looked like.
Yeah.
And
Well,
they
that's the
did
problem.
the
They're
interview.
too cool for school. That's the problem.
Well, they don't want to get dragged out of their hotel room to do a hit on TNT. But,
I know.
I guess they want to be acknowledged,
It's
but
not their bit.
you don't want to be bothered. It's it's a tightrope they're walking.
But they,
I know, but the All-Star game is a pretty big deal.
It is a big deal.
I did appreciate Shaq, though, joining on one of the All-Star selections. And I think he deserved it because he's the best team in the Eastern Conference. Al Horford is averaging 13 points in 6 games.
Mm-hmm.
And Jacob's like, that's an all-star.
Mm-hmm.
They were talking about some of the guys who were snubbed.
Look, I'm glad they got named.
Paul
but
George and
first time in 10
Lou
years
Williams.
that 2 Wizards have been named to the All-Star team. The game is a farce. I understand it's a great honor.
Good honor.
Well, they're changing
It's a
it
nice
up,
honor.
and they're going to have the draft now. So LeBron and Steph will draft players.
Makes it a little more
So
interesting.
it won't be East versus West.
Right.
But it's going to be interesting to see who's first, the first player picked on each team is, and then who
Right.
the last player.
But that's
picked
going to
is.
be more interesting in the game because they're still not going to play defense. It's still going to be 160 to 150.
Or are they going to
Yeah,
release that? I don't know if they're going to release.
Oh, they're not.
It's not televised. That was a big thing. Some guys think it should be televised. I
Definitely
don't
should
know.
be televised.
Yeah.
Why
That'll be better
I
in
don't
the
know
game.
if it's going to be released who the top picks
Are
are.
these
and who
guys
the last
are
See,
there-
they should do it. Don't they do that for
They
the
should
Pro
do it
Bowl?
live. Like, are their
Do it
egos?
live!
Are their egos so fragile that somebody's worried about being picked last? Is
Yes.
that what it is?
Yes.
They're just trying to protect.
I guess.
Yeah.
Protect these
Yeah, you don't wanna be the-
spoiled multimillionaire athletes.
So
You
if
don't wanna be Al
Al
Horford.
Horford is going to be the last pick, I guess maybe they are. You're right. Maybe they're protecting him.
positive. I know it's not being televised. It's going to announce it, and my guess would be going to announce.
I think you're
that
right. I think
Bradley Beal or Al Horford's the last pick.
even though I'd like to see it live, I think that they're going to draft the teams with league officials,
Right.
and not release it, and then they'll just release the rosters.
You know
Well,
what? If,
it'll get out.
one
Top
came up-
picks will get
came
out.
up to me, Adam Silver, and they say, "I don't want my fuel." But they pick last. I'd say, tough. You're making $25 million, Al Horford.
All right, so
or $30 million. You can live
James,
with it.
LeBron and Steph Curry's first 4 selections must come from the pool of starters.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so they have to draft those
Right.
out of the starters first. So the starters have to start,
Right.
and then the reserves get selected.
Well, LeBron's got bigger issues than who he's going to draft because the Cavaliers lost again last night.
Yeah, they did.
They play terrible defense. They lost the Spurs 114 to 102. They've lost 10 of their last 14. As we're talking about the Wizards here lately, and people frustrated the Wizards are floundering at 26 and 21.
They're only a game and a half back of the
Game and a
Cavs.
half back in the Cavs.
It's unbelievable.
That's actually probably the most frustrating thing for Wizards fans is there's an opening in the Eastern Conference this year.
Seems to be. By the way, Celtics lost to another bad team last night. Lost
to
at,
the Lakers.
At LA.
Yep.
They lost to the Magic over the weekend, lost at LA last night. So you might be right. That East might be wide open.
Teams are
You would-
stumbling.
You would assume that Cleveland at the end will put it together, find a couple pieces to add, and be the team, but maybe not. They're 11 and 13 away from home.
They've got infighting. They're challenging Kevin Love on whether he's sick or not. I mean, there's a
Crazy.
lot going on in that locker room.
But Kevin Love's an all-star. Is averaging 19 and 9 this year, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
They just picking on him because he's not one
They're
of the guys.
picking on him because he's not one of the guys. Meanwhile, Isaiah Thomas, Derrick Rose, they're a disaster on that team. And Isaiah Thomas was an amazing story in the NBA last year.
Derrick Rose, it's over. I mean, he's like
Did Rose
he's like
come
an
back?
11th guy
He
on the
is
roster.
back. And
Yeah.
what's he playing? 15 minutes a game? Was he
I
playing
have
more
to
than that?
check. I feel like he's playing more than that.
Last night, I'll check the box for you. Last night he played 13 minutes.
Scrub minutes. Scrubini
Now,
minutes.
D-Wade played 8 and had 12 points.
Right.
And 6 boards, so he was a little bit more productive. But Isaiah Thomas had 3 buckets.
It's so weird because he's so good. I mean,
it's not
Isaiah
fitting
Thomas is just a beast when
But they
given the
say
opportunity.
that 3 of their starting 5 are amongst the worst individual defenders at their position in the NBA.
Worse than the
Isaiah
Wiz?
Thomas, J.R. Smith, Kevin Love, who's starting at center now.
Yeah.
That they're just terrible defenders.
Boy, I can't imagine anybody being worse than J.R. Smith.
Well, J.R. Smith looks
he's
like
awful.
the standout worst defender. You just look at him and
There's no
say,
way.
no way that guy plays defense.
I
Let's
was
look at the way he
actually-
plays offense, and you know there's no way he plays defense.
I would just say it's
Yeah,
Isaiah Thomas.
yeah, he's making, I think, $15 million a year.
Wow.
Yeah, but
That
Isaiah-
is your current day NBA.
But Isaiah Thomas is so short that
It's really hard.
Right, he just
Opposing
gets, he gets
guards-
victimized.
When they were showing him warming up
Dominate
right
him.
before he came back from the injury, they showed it was right around. I think the Wizards might have been playing them, or it was right before they were going to play the Celtics again, whatever it was. And he was warming up before the game, and I had just changed the channel, and I looked at it and I went, "Wait a second, who's the kid shooting threes? He's so tiny. You forget
right.
how
small he is.
tiny
What
and
is he,
small
like
he is.
5'9"?